Welcome to Beyond the Badge podcast. We're so grateful to have Mike Fowler, our dear friend and actually neighbor.
Doesn't get more dear than that.
That's right. And you've been on our podcast before, and Scott Campbell. So let's get right to it. Mike, you're the president of Fowler Consulting Services with the focus on cybersecurity and threat intelligence and governance, risk, and compliance. Former police detective and also United States Air Force veteran. So thank you for your service, and both as a first responder and on the military.
Well, you and your listeners were well worth it. I appreciate you saying that.
Well, we do appreciate that. And Scott, you've done your share of both of those things too. And that's really why we created this podcast, was to talk about the second act and what somebody will do and the impact and influence they can make post wearing the badge.
You know, one of the reasons I was kind of excited about doing this is, yes, you're right to one degree, but I have never, ever in my career or life had any direct involvement with this. The cyber scams, even though I think it's very important. We're going to probably go all over the place today because you've got a lot of information, but I want to end with, for anyone listening to this, just 5 or 6 caveats, things that they could take away that could help them from becoming a victim of this. And this is growing, I think.
No, for sure. And I guess it's currently, we feel like there's not much that we can do. Like all the power's been taken out of our hands, but the reality is there are things that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can do everything right, and through no fault of your own, somebody gets your information.
Right.
But there are still things that you can do to take care of yourself, to take care of your loved ones, that will help mitigate or, in most cases, prevent some of this fraudulent.
You told me something that I didn't realize, didn't think about it, didn't even consider it. But there's actually, depending upon your age, they target you for a particular type of scam. Can you get into that?
Sure. And I did some research before this podcast, and I was really surprised at some of the things I saw. And I really broke it down to 55 to 64, and then 65 plus. Now, the thing that the 55 to 64 group is really getting hit hard with when it comes to fraud is cryptocurrency.
I never would have thought that. Never.
Yeah, and I guess the main reason for that is when you hit 55 to 64, you're starting to think about retirement at that point. Mm-hmm. And do I have enough money to carry me through the rest of my life? So scammers realize that. So they target that 55 to 64 demographic, and they say, hey, I got a great way for you to make millions and millions of dollars through cryptocurrency.
How do they do that? Is that an AI-generated thing? Or?
Absolutely, it could be. Through email, through text. Maybe you do a web search. Fun fact, all the search results you get from Google, some of them are scam sites. Be careful. Just because Google lists that for you, remember, Google gets paid for search results. So if I'm a scammer, I'm going to pay Google to put my search results a little bit higher. And it's not even necessary.
So what does that look like? I'm a 60-year-old male, and I'm saying, you know what, I want to bump up my net worth or whatever, and you start Google searching for crypto. Maybe I want to buy some Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. What does that look like if someone will come back with an email, or how does that look as far as...
Absolutely. Maybe a call. Maybe you requested more information. There's a number of different avenues, just like regular fraud. The thing is, they want to get in contact with you because these guys are scammers. This is how they feed their families. They're going to be really good at sitting down and presenting the information to you that's going to be most palatable. Mm-hmm. There's a great way in the short term for you to make a lot of money off cryptocurrency. Look, Warren Buffett said it best. I don't invest in stuff that I don't understand.
Speaking of that, you just made me realize that, I don't know if you've seen this, but Warren Buffett is 100% against crypto. He had I saw an AI generated, have you seen it, where he's trying to sell crypto. Yeah. And when I saw it, I'm thinking, when did he change? It was so well done. I had to watch it again.
I can't believe how many Elon Musk scam crypto things I've seen.
Yeah,
just give me your name and your email address and I'll send you 5,000 crypto. It's not true.
Yeah.
None of that is true. They're using AI to generate a believable voice, and we can touch more on how they're utilizing AI in order to facilitate some of these additional scams that we're going to talk about.
The scary thing
And
is
it's
getting
not
better and
talking.
better. Right.
It's not just making the meaning that cryptocurrency is a bad thing, right? There's a
Right.
place for that risk,
Absolutely.
a lot of risk involved in that for sure. But you
Yeah.
want to be educated, make sure you've got the risk tolerance for something like that, and the liquidity to make sure and tolerate that, because what goes up really fast can come down really quick. But it's about the AI, it's the fraud intent behind, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make more money, getting ready for retirement, trying to make sure that you're participating in things that have an opportunity to maybe make you a little bit more money. But it's the key, it's the
So they're-
trusting the source.
They're
is the
winning
key.
off of fear. So it sounds like you have someone, okay, I'm afraid I need to bump up in the AI, these scams, these cyber fear.
Absolutely. They are playing off the fears that you have when you're hitting these age groups. We talked about the 55 to 64, and cryptocurrency isn't the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Employment is number 2, employment scams. And this is, maybe you're walking around on LinkedIn, you see a job that you would like, and it's not legitimate. And the whole thing is to separate you from your money. If you pull nothing else from this podcast, if it sounds too good to be true, I promise you it is.
We've heard that our whole life, and you have to keep hearing that over and over. But
Yes.
that is,
Yeah.
most of the time, it's never, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably not going to be true.
And the thing is, most people they feel like something's wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott, maybe you had the same thing in your academy. When I was in the police academy, when we were doing patrol techniques, one of the instructors said, look, there's going to be times where you get this feeling like something is wrong here. But you don't see anything wrong, but in your mind, you know something is going on here. And he said, listen to that, because that's your subconscious voice screaming to your consciousness, I see something here that your conscious mind is not picking up on. It's something wrong. So follow that feeling. And it doesn't matter if it's cryptocurrency, you're looking for a job. It's not,
Gut feeling.
yes. That's
What does that look like? I'm 55 to 64. I'm looking for a job. I go to LinkedIn, I see something that looks really great. How do they scam people in that?
Well, they'll take a legitimate company, let's say mycompany.com. That's a legitimate company worth billions. Zero.com. Just make a little O, lowercase o. mycompany, lowercase o.com. Knowing that most people aren't going to see that little O at the end of it. And they have created an exact duplicate of the legitimate website. Now, what is their end goal? Well, they're collecting all your information, because I'm going to send you, if I'm the scammer, I'm going to send you the stuff that you normally would have. It looks like an HR document. Here's a tax document, so you can put all of your personal information on there and send it back to me. And I want you to go ahead, and I'm going to send you a check for $7,000 so you can purchase all the equipment that you need. So I send you a cashier's check for $7,000. You throw that in the bank, you go out, you buy your stuff, and 2 days later your bank says, that check's not any good. And they take the money back out. It's a way for them to
Have access.
have access to the money, because you only spent $2,000 of the $7,000. And what do you do with the remainder?
Deposit.
You send it back to the company.
Oh, okay, and then they...
Whatever you need, here's $7,000. Okay, you spent $2,000. Just send us back the other $5,000. We'll be done.
What do you think if they just use all that energy into it, a real job without hurting people, they would probably be just as successful?
It's a skill set, and they are very skilled.
And getting better because of AI.
Exponentially better.
That's the scary part. Which leads me, and I want to ask you about this. I'm thinking, and I could be wrong, I want you to correct me, I'm thinking that top of this list for cyber scams, Medicare.
Medicare is picking up big time. Start funneling illicit funds into there, withdraw those funds, and who do you think they're going to come knocking on the door at the end of the day?
Yeah.
So our information, I guess you could get the most from the healthcare field, right?
Yeah, that's why they're typically a target. I spent probably 3 years working with a group called the COVID-19 CTI League, and our whole emphasis was on protecting healthcare organizations, because they were getting hit so hard with ransomware. Because think about the information that your typical healthcare provider or organization is going to have.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to start sending you fraudulent bills for you to pay that are tests. Well, now it's just a mix of all the other bills that you come in there, and they ended up getting paid. There's so many scams that are rolling around out there, especially when it comes to health.
So how do you really define that? When you get a bill, a lot of people just, they had a procedure done, you got to really look. What are you looking for?
You got to pay attention. You get a bill that's outside of what your insurance would normally pay, call your provider. Hey, provider, I just got this bill. Can you tell me what it's for? And they're going to let you know quick, fast, and hurry. No, this is not us.
So that's one of the takeaways there. When you get something, if you have any kind of a question, just go ahead and call the provider.
Exactly.
Well, what they've gotten really good at is they're getting data from somewhere. They know if you have a medical issue. They know if you're the milestone age, right? 64 and a half. So you're getting bombarded with Medicare. The scammers get right in there with it as well. Social Security. I've seen it again and again. Somebody, you would think, well, how can you fall for that IRS is going to call you and tell you that they're going to come and lock you up, right? Because you're going to get arrested because you owe back taxes. The IRS will not call you.
No.
They will not normally come to your door unless you already have notice of either you've done some really bad fraud and they'll come with badges, or they're going to actually come because they've already been in communication with you. But don't just assume, since you've already been having some of these conversations with legitimate professionals or businesses, that it's another legitimate professional or business.
As you know, Jackie, I can tell you 100% they will send you a letter and say, hey, we've noticed a little something going on here. Again, verify. And one of our takeaways is going to be, make sure if you look at it and you say, you know what, something's just not right here. Somebody's calling me from the IRS. They're saying that I owe X amount or they're going to arrest me, and they're asking for me to pay this off in Apple gift cards. That's a clue. When I was a police officer, we called that a clue. There's something wrong here. Let's stop. Let's think about it. If we still have questions, call somebody.
I think that's the problem. We're in a world now that's so full of noise. There's so many distractions. There's so much going on. It's so easy to just, and I've done it. We're all guilty of it. You just want to, like Jackie says, I want to check it off the list. What about this UPS saying they got a package you're holding and you need to send them some money? You've received those texts?
I can't tell you how many over the last, I feel like in the last 3 months, they've risen exponentially. The number of texts that I've been getting.
Tolls, unpaid tolls, it never ends on what you're getting. And we're so quick to swipe left, swipe right? Because we want it off of our screen, or maybe we can't quite read the print on our phones, and we might click on something thinking it's something legitimate. Maybe. Depends on the age group that we're looking at here, right?
Click nothing.
Do you say don't click on the attachment?
Click nothing. Verify everything. Jackie will send me an attachment. I'm not just a guest on her podcast, I'm also a customer. But it comes through a secure portal. She has never sent me an attachment in email, ever. It goes through a secure portal because there are ways to do things that make sure that it keeps you out of that fraud loop. I did click it because I trust her, and I trust you, Jackie, implicitly.
Oh, thank you.
Sure. No.
You still wouldn't click it?
I'd pick up the phone and say, Jackie, did you send me an attachment? And she'd say yes. Now I'd say, okay, I'll go ahead and click it.
You're making me paranoid now because I click on attachments all the time. I know the sender, and I know I have an idea. Well, I take that back. I don't randomly click just to click. I click on a lot of attachments because of this conversation.
Scott, I feel like maybe you randomly click sometimes.
No, I do.
I'm feeling that.
You feel like I do, but no.
We probably have to have extra
Maybe not
protocol
email,
set
but-
up for Scott,
but
right?
in text.
No, I don't get attachments in text.
No, but links within text. I'm going to group all this together.
Okay.
Don't click.
Click.
Just
Don't
follow the
click.
mic rule. Don't
You're
click.
ruining my whole life,
If
but
you-
it makes sense.
If you get a text, let's say from your bank. Bank of America sends me a text and says,
Oh, I
we got
know
some
what.
fraudulent activity on your account. Please give us a call.
I would not click.
And I love that.
I would not.
Yes. But there are people who would and do.
Is
Smart
that,
people.
would you say,
Really smart people.
if we was to really define one of the biggest things, and I know we're gonna end with these big takeaways for people should not do, would that be at the top of the list? Just don't click on any attachments.
If you want to save yourself from a one-way ride in first class on the pain train, start by not clicking things. Don't click a link. Don't click an attachment. Don't click anything
Until you
have
verify.
Verify.
Yeah.
I go directly to the website or my
Yes.
application, for whatever the
100%.
bank, financial institution, and look in that way.
So
So
we'll cover that again, but I think it's safe to say now, just verify before you click.
Verify.
yeah, because last year I know you did this research, Mike, and 2024 frauds and scams cost $7.3 billion for seniors last year.
And with
With
one
a B,
caveat,
billion.
With a B, with one caveat, that's reported.
But you're right. That's reported. That's probably double that if you really
Listen,
knew
It's
the
true.
true
And Jackie,
number.
that's a great segue into, let's talk ages 65 plus.
Ooh, I'm so glad you went there because I have two things I really want to touch on. I know you have a lot,
All
but
right.
Jackie's going to cut my time off, so
Oh,
I
she
want
is.
to make sure.
Okay.
The two that really stick out to me is the imposter scams. I want you to talk about that. And my other one, I got to talk about the romance scams.
Yeah. Bad guys know, once we start hitting that 65 plus, sometimes we're looking for new life partners. Now, regardless of, if we had a life partner for years and we don't have that person anymore, we're social creatures. And scammers know that. So they really, really have gotten good at romance scams. This is where somebody, and you know what? It's not quick. This is not a get rich quick. They may have 100 people. The scammers have 100 people that they're talking to. And then all of a sudden, one day, 2-3 months down the road, they've been talking to you. They've been telling you, oh my God, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, how are you doing this morning, sweetie? For 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year maybe. And all of a sudden, one day, it's, oh, I'm coming back to the United States. I'd love to see you. I just don't have the money for a plane ticket to see you. I'm really in love with you. I know you love me. Let's go ahead and get together. Let's go that next level. No. And they'll always have an excuse. Why? Well, why haven't you video called me? Oh, I sent you a movie where I was talking to you and saying your name. Ooh. Remember the AI we were just talking about? That's 10 minutes AI to
That's the
produce a
gut
movie.
feeling clue right there.
Yeah, but people fall for it. Anything emotional,
Every day.
like they get fully invested in. I've seen hundreds of thousands of dollars be lost in relationships, and it is not a short click of the button, right? This is a longer play. It's going to be they're really going to get that emotional
So if they
bond
get 2 out of
going.
100, that's a success for them.
Yes, and it goes way beyond me just scamming you. If I get access to your bank account, I'm going to take other people's money that I have scammed from them, and I'm going to deposit it in your bank account, and then ask you to either send me Bitcoin or send me a check or something of that nature, so that now you're involved in the scam and you had no idea. So now you're not only afraid that you've got romance scammed, you're afraid to report it because they told you you're a part of the scam now.
How successful are they?
Very.
Very. I remember about 30 years ago, ballroom dancing used to be a big part of the
Yes.
scam, right? And
I
they would,
remember
make someone feel great. They are, it's exercise. They're learning new things, but truly just do the romantic thing and, get just a ton of money from
You
them.
get old.
Now
Or
they're
get
sitting in
lonely.
Nigeria or Ghana. They're trying to scam you out of your money. It's because the Nigerian criminal code for these types of scams is 419. The first one I ever came across, and this was probably when I was a police officer, they came and reported, this is probably maybe mid-90s, was in a letter. And this was nothing but U.S. postal mail going back and forth. And the guy had gotten scammed for over $50,000 in the mail.
How? Just
Send him a letter. You know what? Your uncle, who is I'm a solicitor in the UK. Your uncle's passed away. I know you didn't know that you had an uncle in the UK, but you did. And he's left you $65 million. Now, we need to get this money to you, but in order to give you the $65 million, we need you to pay a small tax rate. So as soon as you send us the tax money, we'll go ahead and take care of that.
That's the greedy motion kicking in now.
Yes, yes.
And many have fallen for things like that. And
it's
that was
only
in snail
grown.
mail,
Yeah, that
right?
was snail mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's grown exponentially
Sure.
past that.
Well, how does that go hand in hand with the imposter scam? I mean, I guess it seems there's some similarities there.
There is. This could be people posing as your family members. That TikTok that your niece recorded with her voice, they can take that, roll it through an AI engine, and now I can make a video of your niece saying anything I would like
With that same voice.
with exactly the same voice.
They can even take still photos and actually make them actionable
Oh, that's
now.
right. I saw
It's
that.
so true.
Technology is increasing at such a rapid pace, it's going to take a while before we're able to decipher the difference
Is that
there.
part of
So-
that Pandora's box
For
that
sure.
we've talked about that's open and will never be closed?
No, it's like anything else, Scott. There's so much good that could be done from this. AI could really increase our capabilities in healthcare, in the legal aspect. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could really expedite how doctors and attorneys and other practitioners, how quickly they can get things done. Unfortunately, scammers will take the best things that we have and they'll use it to do the worst things to us.
Right.
So
And that's
it's
what
probably-
we're seeing.
We're not going, I mean, this is not going to have a downturn. It's just going to have an uptick. It's just going to get worse
Correct.
and worse.
And it's not like I want to scare people like, oh, there's nothing you can do. Because there are some things you can do to help protect yourself. And that's something that we'll talk about as we go through.
Is this tech support, is that still a big thing?
Yes.
It is.
You'll be surfing the internet, and all of a sudden you get this big pop-up with a siren going off saying, oh, virus, you got a virus, call this number and we'll fix it for you. All they want is access to your computer, and they're going to do that. And I've had family members who are very intelligent, and I mean intelligent, like street smart intelligent, fall for this.
Well, fear, it affects that fear emotion, could you think?
It's that sense of exigency that they create. Oh, I have to hurry up and get this virus out before it steals
Yeah.
all my information. And again, these scammers are good. This is how they feed their families. They're going to be good
Yeah.
at something or they're going to go on to something else. So you're not dealing with somebody in a basement somewhere. These are smart, practiced, professional scammers that you're dealing with. Guys who are really just, with their own time, their own energy, their own money, are really going hard after these scammers. And a lot of the times, they're in call centers in other countries. Well, nothing's going to happen to the scammer. Nothing is going to happen, realistically. But they will take enough of the scammer's time where if he's scamming this guy, well, he's not scamming somebody else.
Right.
So if I can take 100 hours of the scammer's life away from
You're
them,
saving someone else from
I'm
that.
saving them 100 hours from somebody else. That's pretty noble.
Yeah, for sure.
What about this, I don't hear this much anymore, but I guess they're still doing the investment scams. I don't remember seeing that lately, but
It can really go as far as crypto, we already talked
Right.
about, timeshares, and I don't want to look disparaging on an entire, I guess, section of things, because I'm sure there are some legitimate timeshares, but it's one of the vehicles that the scammers use in order to separate you from your money. And of course, fake opportunities, land.
too good to be
We
true
got-
stuff. Yeah.
We got 600 acres in Wyoming, we're gonna sell you for, $10 an acre. That's the time where you say, oh, wait a minute, let me stop for a second, let me think, does that really make sense?
Does that sound too good to be true?
I better verify this.
Yeah.
But you don't have to respond, right? And I think that's the thing. It's like this hospitality, this, especially in the South, right? It's like everybody's got this, this Southern grace and feeling like you need to respond to be polite and courteous, but you don't have to respond to texts or emails or even phone calls for that example. I remember this one kid that said to the grandpa, he's like, Grandpa, your friend Spam is calling, because he saw the the call coming in. It's like, no, that's not my friend. But we kind of get in that habit that we want to do everything, get it off the list, check it off the list, but also feel like we need to respond. You don't. You just swipe I don't know if it's left or right, depending on the kind of phone that you have, but, delete
What
it
good
and be
is
done with it.
I mean, how can you stop this, especially on the cell phones, this just influx of spam calls? And you block the number. Do you do that? You block it?
Absolutely.
Okay, but the same people call back.
Next day.
And so they have this big database that they just rotate through numbers.
Yep.
So there's no end to that. So is there...
I think getting the federal government more involved in shutting these down and maybe providing a little more oversight into, are the telecom carriers really taking care of these things? When I put myself on the do not call list, are they really putting Mike on the do not
I'm
call
going to
list?
say no.
Technology, as it gets better and better, there probably is an app for that to get removed from a spam list or whatever. But is that a scam by itself, right? And do you even know, Mike, like when you're going to add in an app, it's really easy. Like you save your Apple ID on your phone, you just click, 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 double click, and here it is. You've got this app. Is it really and truly a good app, or is it a scam? Is there a way to tell on those things?
Some are going to slip through. They say 1% of everything that goes on in our lives is bad.
Yeah.
So there's going to be 1% that they're going to use a new coding technique that maybe Apple isn't as familiar with. But by and large, I think you'll be all right. Android, same thing. In fact, one thing that I really appreciate that Android does on the App Store is it tells you what permissions the app is asking for. So I can go in and say, okay, this is asking for my name, financial information, location. I'm not comfortable with that. So no, this is not going to be an app that I'm going to install.
Does Apple give you those same permissions?
I don't know.
Potentially, it's on the app, whatever you're giving it access to. Sometimes it's all of your photos. It could be all of your contact lists. You have to really understand what you're giving permission to, besides just click, click, click.
Right.
And but it takes almost a full-time job or some technology. You've got to have either a tool, a source, a friend, someone that you really trust. Like, hey, can I run this by you and see if this is legitimate? I know Reddit. Is it reddit.com?
Yeah.
And a lot of scams, you can actually say, hey, is this a legitimate, or this phone number, you can actually put it in there.
You can ask Reddit and it will tell you.
Reddit's pretty good, pretty
They have
reliable.
some great users on Reddit.
Yeah.
I would caution you, because there's some areas on Reddit that you don't want to accidentally trip and fall into. But when it comes to scams and things, they got a great user base.
Yeah.
I've never been here. I want to ask you, because I know you've been. This is the way my mind looks at it. You have the internet, it's a surface, the surface of the ocean. And then you have the middle of the ocean, which is where our important information is carried. And then you have this real deep, deep, small little space at the bottom of the ocean. They call it the dark web. Is that where all this falls into?
The internet as we know it actually falls in, Scott, you're right, it's 3 different areas. You have the internet, the surface web, which we type in www.about, and we can go there. If we want information about that, we can go to Google and type it in, and Google has already indexed that website, and it's looking great. The second layer, that's called the deep web. And this is websites that you can access on the internet, but Google does not index them.
When you say index.
You wouldn't get search results on Google if you were looking for something on those websites.
And this is because of users and passwords and stuff, right? Or...
This is because the owners of those websites have told Google, I don't want you in here.
Okay.
I don't want you to know what's on my website. That's the deep web. That's some sites that you can get to. Usually, not always, but sometimes they can be a little suspicious. And then you have the dark web, and that's that third layer down at the bottom. You are not going to stumble into the dark web. You have to have specific software to get there. You have to have specific knowledge. It doesn't end in .com. None of the websites end in .com. So you have to have specific knowledge and specific software in order to get to the dark web. So if somebody says that they've been to the dark web by accident, that's not true. There's no way that you would be able to get on the dark web by accident.
How
You
do
could hit some deep websites by accident, you could.
But how do you, so that's an intentional act. You go into the dark web.
Correct.
You have an access point somehow, some way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that go on there.
I would say there's a lot of legitimate sites that have a presence on the dark web. You know, a lot of news sites.
They're just places, they don't want
Like
people to know their business.
Well,
They-
not even that, just CBS.
Really?
They got a regular site, and then they got one that's accessible on dark. And I'm using CBS as an example. I don't know for a fact that CBS has a dark web access to their website, but yeah, there's legitimate
What's the
reasons.
reasoning for wanting to be there?
Because with a high level of privacy.
Okay.
So
And there's a lot of folks who value that privacy, and they don't go to any websites that are on the surface web or the deep web. They stay on, because they don't want to be tracked. The long and short, and I understand that.
Yeah.
the incognito.
Yes,
So-
but it's not the incognito you get from your browser.
Understand. So going in your browser, if you're kind of don't want somebody to see who you are, add your information to their cookies, which always cracks me up that that's a definite. There's a definition for that, but you don't want your data going there. You can go incognito on your browser.
Correct, if you want to opt out of cookies and tracking stuff, but there's still a record of your IP address accessing that website.
Mm-hmm.
When we're on the dark web, that stuff is split amongst thousands of hidden servers, and the IP that goes to that website, it may be from some server in Munich or some server in Ankara, Turkey. It could be something that has absolutely nothing to do with where you are in reality, and that gives that privacy sense there.
Right.
Is that part of that, the VPN? You always hear about the VPN. Is that, and then I heard that the VPN that people were using so they wouldn't have to be hacked or whatever. So someone could not do a cyber scam or whatever, they would use this VPN. But now I'm hearing that most VPNs gather all this data about you, even though they're keeping you somewhat safe, they're selling you data. Have you heard that?
I think, again, you know, we talked about how you can have the best tools and the best options, and if you use them like you're supposed to be used, what a wonderful thing. I use a VPN on a regular basis because it provides a lot of additional capabilities that I wouldn't have otherwise. But VPN isn't the end-all be-all. It's just one piece of that overall privacy or security that you're wanting to implement. And I think an important thing to note here is there's no silver bullet.
And don't click.
And don't click.
So before we wrap up here, Mike, and get some final thoughts from you, because I know you've had over 30 years in a career, right? You hold the CISSP certification. You're the alumni of UCLA Technical Management Program, but you have experience in ransomware.
Yeah, I spent 16 months doing ransomware negotiations for companies who had been impacted. And by negotiations, that's a company gets impacted by ransomware. I contact the bad guys and say, look, I'm acknowledging the fact that you have compromised the network. You left us a note. Let's talk and see what we can do to work this out where we can recover the network. I did that for about 16 months as part of my cyber threat intelligence.
How often does that happen?
Multiple times a day.
Every day.
You have multiple victims every single day.
Small companies, medium and large size.
And
So they put a lot of people out of business.
you don't hear about small and medium companies. You cannot afford what they're paying. One client that I had was a charity. They offered free breast cancer screening. And they had no money. They're living month to month, providing as much as they can to their clients. And I negotiated on their behalf in order to get that ransom as low as possible so that they could get their stuff. Because remember, it encrypts everything. You have nothing. all their client lists and contact information, their entire ERM, it was all encrypted. There's nothing left that you can read. So it has to be decrypted. And ransomware is a completely different thing. There's things that you can do to help yourself if you do get hit by ransomware. But at the end of the day, if I had to say what the number one cyber threat to organizations, not necessarily individuals,
Right.
but organizations, number one would be ransomware. Number two would be business email compromise.
Clicking on the
Yeah.
link.
Don't click
Don't
on
click.
the link.
All right, I said at the beginning, we got to get some takeaways. I'm a 70-year-old, and I really don't want to
You're
be.
a good-looking 70-year-old.
Hey, look, don't blink tomorrow. If I'm fortunate enough, I will be. But I don't want to get taken by an imposter scam. I don't want to get taken by a romance scam. Medicare. Give me some takeaways, some things that I could do. And before you tell me this, I already know I learned something already. I'm not going to click on the link until I verify it,
Do
okay?
not click on the link.
So that's a good starting point. But what's some things that I can do as a 70-year-old so I don't get involved in this cyber scam?
I think number one, and you hit the nail on the head, is verify. Verify what's going on. The bad guys want you to act impulsively. They want to create that sense of urgency. It's like, oh, we have to hurry up and get this done, or the entire world is coming to an end. That's not true. That's not true. The best way to protect yourself is stop communicating with them. Just stop. Hang up the phone. Don't answer that text. Block them. Because if what they're calling and telling you this horrible thing is going on, well, verify that horrible thing is going on. We have your son locked up. His bond is $640. How would you like to pay for that? Well, there's no reason for you to hurry up and bond him out, whether or not you think he should go to jail or not.
Right, yeah.
So the best thing is, okay, thank you for your call. Click, hang that phone up, get on the web. What is the phone number for Iredell County Sheriff's Office? And call them. You call them and say, yep, my son is in jail. No, he's not here. Okay.
Or you call your son, right? Call your grandson, call whoever.
Exactly.
I've
Verify.
seen that a lot when they say that the grandchild needs money or whatever, and they're here, or they need to be, bailed out of jail, whatever it is. They
I work
quick
for the
action.
sheriff's office. People, because I got a subpoena and didn't show up for court. No.
Yeah.
No. We might call you to tell you that you're supposed to go to court, but we're not going to call and tell you, hey, we're coming over there to arrest you because you failed to go to court. If you get me some Apple gift cards, you won't have to go to jail. Come on.
I want to ask you.
Well, the gift card's the key there, right?
Well, the gift card, well, you would think at this
No
point.
legitimate corporations
Yeah.
will take that.
All right, I want to have strong cybersecurity, right?
Yes.
And I don't know because I'm not tech savvy like you. What kind of to keep everything that I have updated? What would that look like?
When you get that pop-up that says, hey, there's an update to your Windows system, click OK and take the 10 minutes to update it. Because there's always security updates in
Well,
there.
see, most people freak out when they see that. They think, is this legit or not? How do they know?
You know what the legitimate pop-up looks like. The reason why people don't do it is because they don't want to take that 10 minutes. Oh, I'm right in the middle of something. I'll do it later. Or and later becomes 6 months from now. And what they're trying to do is repair a way bad guys are getting in. So
Okay.
by keeping your device updated, this is not just your computer, but your phone, your laptop, your tablet.
Yeah.
When Apple or Microsoft sends you a notice to update it.
So most
Take
of
the
those
10
updates,
minutes.
the whole purpose they send that to you is they're trying to repair a way that the bad guy's getting in.
Well, they're wanting to fix something.
Yeah.
That's it. They want to fix
So
something.
do the updates.
Do your updates. Do your updates.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a great way to do it.
Again, don't click any links. Don't.
Tell me
Don't.
about that's going to be my number one takeaway here. But I want to know about. Well, first, I'm not going to click on a link. I'm going to verify.
Okay, thank you.
But create a family password. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. And this is a conversation you can have with any members of your family. That way, if you get a call and it says, hey, your niece is in jail in Costa Rica, and if you don't send the bail money, we're going to have to put her in jail. But if you send us the bail money, we'll go ahead and bond her out, and she can go back to the United States. When you talk to your niece, the way to confirm that it's not an AI niece, have a word that you use. And it can be something as innocuous as pineapple or anything. It's just a word that lets you know and lets the rest of your family know. Look, if you get a call and it's supposedly from me, if I don't say pineapple, it's not me. And this is nothing new. Houdini did it, 50 years ago, 60 years ago? Houdini told him, he said, look, I'm going to try to come back after I die. And the way you're going to know it's me is I'm going to tell you this specific word. And nobody's got the word yet. This is nothing new. But again, good security is built with pieces. There's no one silver bullet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one of those pieces so that if you get that call and it's a scammer trying to impersonate, okay, what's the word?
Yeah, just
I
having.
don't say pineapple, then no, I'm going to hang up the phone.
Well, it's just like having a good plan, right? We're in Florida. We got hurricane seasons go down. We can't get a hold of each other. What time and where are we going to meet? It's all about having that disaster plan in place. And I get you guys are like trained
not until
101
then.
on that sort of thing.
I'm not going to click. I'm going to verify. Okay.
Thank you, Scott. I'm
Mike-
leaving here feeling so much better now.
I have a feeling there's going to be a T-shirt coming with "Don't Click" on there, just for you, Mike. Anything else as far as a takeaway, an action, or any good tips even to give to our family members? Right. So we have, parents. I remember my mom got me one time. She's like, "Yeah, they called and they said they needed to get on my computer to update some things," and I'm like, "Please tell me you didn't let them on your computer." And she's like, "Yeah, why would I not do that?" She was pulling my leg, but
I didn't know that.
I thought, oh my gosh, please don't tell me you're falling for that one. But so many people do.
I have a family member who was having a problem with her Gmail account. So she Googled, what is the tech support number for Gmail? Well, Google gave her all these results.
Oh no.
Every single one of them was a scam. Every single one. So she calls the one at the top of the list, and they're like, oh, we can help you. Sure. We're going to need access to your computer before we can do that. She's like, oh, okay, you can fix my problem. All right, here, go ahead, here, have access.
Yeah.
And then they start pulling down all her banking information, every password that she had. She called me. I was actually at a security conference in Las Vegas. And she said, this is what happened. I said, stop right now, unplug the computer. Mm-hmm. Just turn it off. Don't touch it until I come home.
Yeah.
That's it. Just stop.
And
Were they
it
able to get
happens.
anything? Did they get?
Yeah, it only takes seconds.
What?
Yeah.
So they were able to get in.
Yeah, who knows? Oh, they were definitely in. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to there's certain times where you're going to need a professional to help you, right? So
Agreed.
it's knowing who to talk to, but just having this conversation, sharing some of these things. And Mike, I really am looking forward to kind of summarizing some of your notes because you've been doing this for over 30 years. And I know 30 years ago, personal computing, internet wasn't even, I guess internet was a thing, right, in the early 90s. But looking back to when we were younger, like, it's so far ahead. So the older generation, you can just imagine how overwhelming this can be for them.
No, for sure. And as an older person myself,
Yeah.
I can tell you the two important takeaways there are it can happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to be embarrassed.
Right.
Because if I was in a car race and I'm against a NASCAR driver and he beats me, do I feel embarrassed about that?
Right. Yeah.
No, these guys are professionals.
He should beat you.
These guys are professionals. So if I get scammed, there's no need to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
None. Everybody understands. Look, this happens.
That's a huge
There, but for the
takeaway.
grace of God, go
Yeah.
I.
Right. And you two are trained, right? So you're jaded.
No.
No.
Mike, maybe, but
Yes,
not me.
well, you are, right? You're you're trusting and verifying probably a lot more than the majority of us, right? But you're taught how to be skeptical of things, but not all of us have that criminal thinking, that mindset, and we want to think the very best of everyone. So that's a really good tip: is don't be embarrassed. Make sure we get things huge. There is a FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center, so we'll have that in the information below in the podcast. And
You know what? If it's a cyber scam, I'd say it's going to be hit and miss. They're probably going to point you to the FBI's website. Now, some units in this area have great cybersecurity investigators.
Yeah.
In Ellis County, got some amazing guys that I know personally. But the starting point, I would say, is report it to the FBI, because they're going to be the clearinghouse even for the local crimes that go on. They're going to be the clearinghouse. So
Is there a number on here for them? Or?
No, it's just a website.
Okay. Well, I think you just touched on something besides don't click the link. I think a lot of people feel like, and you worded that perfectly, a lot of people are embarrassed when that happens. But it's like trying to race against a NASCAR driver, because these guys do this for a living.
Yes. And think about the hard work that we've put in over the years. We're good at what we do, and they're good at what they do. So there's no shame there. I mean,
Yeah.
they're really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's do what we can as a community of humans to try to keep them from doing that to somebody else.
Bingo. There's really the
Would
bottom
you be
line.
okay after this enlightenment that I've got today? I've been thinking about having a shirt made, and it's going to be something that allows to listen. Just don't click on the link. Verify first.
I would wear that shirt if it had your face on it.
You'd have to have mine. Okay,
It's
that's
your
doable.
face right on the chest.
We can make this happen. These two can banter back and forth for hours and days. So, and they do in real life. Mike Fowler, thank you so much for your service in the Air Force and also as a first responder. And so grateful to know you and have you as my phone a friend when Scott clicks something he's not supposed to click. So
He does.
I
No,
know.
I'm not clicking the link.
He's actually gotten much better because
Thank
burn
you.
him once, he's not going to get burned the second and third time. So I think we're
He's
getting a little bit
doubting
more
that.
skeptical. But beyond the badge, and if you're listening, and if you fall in one of these age groups, or you know someone, a family member looking to retire beyond the badge, or going into your second act, or whatever that might be to help you get to and through retirement, thank you for your sacrifice and your service, and we look forward to helping you at Campbell Company. So thank you so much, Scott and Mike Fowler, for your time
And
today.
don't click the
Pleasure,
link.
as always. And don't click